I often say it's a little bit like Antiques Roadshow, but for Penfolds. You do have instances where you have people coming in thinking that what they've got is worth thousands, and maybe you have to educate them that it may be more like hundreds of dollars, but you also get the inverse of that as well.
Australia is a nation of awe-inspiring spectacles. From the Great Barrier Reef to the pink salt of Lake McDonald, the land down under is home to many national treasures. But tucked away in cellars, behind dusty glass, you'll find another. Penfolds wines. With its crisp white label and ruby red writing, the South Australian icon is unmistakable. And so too is its influence. More than mere liquid, Penfolds, whether it's Grange, Bin 389 or Miguel Estate, is a toast to Australian perseverance. Inside each glass lies a story of sacrifice and celebration, bottled up and waiting for the right time. And the truth is, sometimes we wait too long. And that's where this story begins. Since 1991, Penfolds has been quietly reviving the industry, giving life back to aging bottles. They call it the Re-Corking Clinic, and if you don't know what that is, you aren't alone. But it serves a crucial purpose. In the world of wine, corks don't last forever, 15, 20 years if you're lucky, before time and oxygen take their toll. For a collector, wine taint can be irksome, but for a family holding onto a bottle from a wedding, a birth year or a milestone, it can be heartbreaking. Penfolds has figured out a way to change all that, not just with a new cork, but with a ritual that blends science, theatre and ceremony. Think of it as a complimentary wine health check for any Penfolds under cork, aged 15 years and older. The Re-Corking Clinics are the ultimate in aftercare service, inviting owners or collectors to present their prized bottles to the Penfolds winemaking team, such as Chief Winemaker Peter Gago, for assessment and authentication.
Well, here we are in Sydney at the Langham Hotel, where after 34 years, we're still recorking and servicing people's drinking investments. These are not Grange Re-Corking Clinics, these are Penfolds Re-Corking Clinics. So any Penfold red wine that's 15 years or older. Now, people book in an appointment because they can come in with 1 bottle, 10 bottles or 100 bottles. We have 7 winemakers here with us today, and the interest is just accelerating. It is, glibly, the ultimate in after-sales service.
It's a delicate process. Each bottle is checked, measured and tasted. Sometimes it's fine, ready to return to the cellar, and sometimes it needs a little help. A new cork, a top-up from a recent vintage, and a certificate to say the wine is alive and ready for the years ahead. And every so often, the news isn't good. The wine is gone, oxidised, spoiled, but even then, there's something profound about it all. In a sense, a spoiled bottle is a reminder that time is precious, and that the best wine is the one that you share.
Now, this wine is everything it should be and a little bit more. So Zoe now will top this very carefully. And what I can do is I sign off on that particular bottle. Now, when Zoe applies this, not only will she put this onto the bottle and apply it, but there are all sorts of black light detection security things here. But importantly too, that number goes into a data bank. Now, this is the first part of what goes on here, the assessment part. The important part is the actual recorking, and we'll take that across.
Just getting the first cork into position now, the bottle's underneath, and then once more the cork's gently getting squeezed and placed in. And the next step, we get a special Penfolds capsule from the Re-Corking Clinic. This for 389, Grange get their own capsules. We'll gently roll that tin foil of the capsule onto the bottle.
Thank you, thanks. So again, look at that. Perfect, pristine, 1978. Now, tissue wrap isn't just used as an aesthetic, although it does make the wine look terrific. It's also a nice alert diagnostically. If something's leaking even only slightly, it's like blotting paper and you see it in a rack quite quickly. It's more of an alert mechanism if the wine does leak. Thanks, Ben, thanks. So, you know, it didn't really look that much different all those decades back.
At the clinics, you'll see it all. Bottles that have sat untouched for decades, passed from one generation to the next. Some are worth thousands of dollars, others priceless for different reasons. But for Penfolds Director of Winemaking Steph Dutton, it's a rare opportunity to see her work in a new light. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you've been with Penfolds since 2007, right?
Yeah.
So now you're kind of beyond that 15 years with Penfolds. You're starting to see wines that come through that maybe you worked on.
Yes.
How special is that for you?
Incredibly special. I never thought necessarily that when I joined Penfolds, I would be fronting those wines 15, 20, and maybe even there's a chance for 25 or 30 years down the track, time will tell. I think ultimately it's the greatest reminder that what you put in bottle can quite literally haunt you in good and bad ways for the rest of your life, but it's a reminder of what's at stake. You always have to be proud of what you're putting in bottle. It's always a team effort, and you look at some of the faces that are around the room today. You know, they were making wines back in the 80s for Penfolds, the 90s for Penfolds, certainly into the 2000s. And that long apprenticeship, I think, gives you more skin in the game, it gives you more responsibility, and it does remind you what's at stake.
And what kind of people are coming to these clinics? Are we seeing collectors, people who just hold on to family heirlooms, or a mix of everyone?
Absolutely everything. Sometimes you'll have people come in with a single bottle, and it might be a bottle that they have inherited, been gifted. They may be not even fully aware of what it is that they've got. I often say it's a little bit like Antiques Roadshow, but for Penfolds. And you do have instances where you have people coming in thinking that what they've got is worth thousands, and maybe you have to educate them that it may be more like hundreds of dollars. But you also get the inverse of that as well, where you get someone coming in unaware of what they've got, and it can be a 1962 bin 60A, which we have had this morning, and that was probably conservatively valued at $15,000 a bottle.
Wow.
And it was even a little bit of a surprise for that collector. I do spend all of these days reminding people to open up their bottles. They can go for 50 years, they can go for 60 years. It doesn't mean that they have to go for that long. These wines, you know, rightfully and gratefully are held in such high esteem, which is both a blessing and a curse. The high esteem is due to their track record, their pedigree, and to feel like Penfolds have earned that is really special. But it also means that people become so nervous to take the cork out themselves. And so if there is one thing that I want people to walk away from, you know, a clinic day, it is that it is okay to open up at home the bottle that they've come in with.
Sounds like a good excuse for this to me. So thank you so much, Steph. I appreciate it.
So
it's
good
always
to have
lovely
you
to
here.
chat with you. Thank you. For the collectors and owners who walk in here, the value isn't always financial. Sure, a certified Grange might be worth a small fortune at auction, but more often than not, you'll find that these bottles hold far more than just cab sav. It's a story of people, of place and prestige. And in true Penfolds fashion, that's exactly what the Re-Corking experience celebrates. While you wait, there's wine by the glass, Grange if you're lucky, food, live music and keepsakes, with complimentary independent market price valuations provided by partner Langham's. Truly, the South Australian label understands how to make an experience special. Since it began, over 200,000 bottles have passed through these clinics across 4 continents. Each one checked, tasted, saved if possible, and each one carrying a part of Australia's history. Think about that. Generations of families, a living archive of taste and time. And at the centre of it lies Grange. When Max Schubert first made it in 1951, critics dismissed it, the Penfolds board tried to kill it, and he made it in secret. Now, bottles of that very same vintage sell for over $150,000. But if you ask Peter Gago, Chief Winemaker at Penfolds, what makes Grange so special isn't the price tag, but what it means to Australia.
Well, I think even our competitors begrudgingly respect what Penfolds does.
That's fair to say, I think.
I think it's fair to say, you know, big is bad. Well, we're not that big. We aren't bad. No, not bad. But, you know, there is a respect there. We have a track record. Even Grange, for example, now after 70 vintages, it's still 21 currently, a few 100-point scores, more 99-point scores than I've ever seen before. This is after 70 releases. So we're not living off what used to be. We're innovating with Grange La Chapelle and other such wines. It's a brave new world ahead, but this is protecting where we've come from, the bottles that people have collected. So it's again another means not just of putting new corks into old bottles, but also of protecting people's drinking investments. It's not just, the story's not over when you buy that bottle and take it home. That's just the start of the journey. And at these re-corking clinics, people might come 20, 30, 50 years later, or descendants, and the wine is still being revered, poured, and looked after.
I love that.
Yeah.
Peter, thank you so much.
Pleasure, pleasure.
When you look at wines like Grange or Penfolds Re-Corking, drops that age for years in barrel, it's clear that patience is key to Penfolds' success. For Steph, Peter and the team, it's about the long game. Not just the science of keeping wine alive, but also the stories that reside within the bottle. And that, to me, is a philosophy worth savouring.